What is going on, everybody? My name is Mario and welcome back to my channel. Sam Mendes won the DGA last night, and I think it's safe to say that knowing this information, a lot of our predictions in terms of the Oscars should be wrapping up pretty soon. All of the acting categories are pretty much locks. I personally don't see Brad Pitt, Laura Dern, Renee Zellweger, or Joaquin Phoenix losing the Oscar. They've won every single award that they've been nominated for, and I'm predicting that BAFTA will do the same thing as the other award shows and give them all the top prize. It doesn't really seem like anyone in the acting category is posing a threat anymore. The screenplay, though, is where some surprises can still happen. But I do think that Little Women is going to win for Best Adapted Screenplay, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is more than likely going to win for Best Original Screenplay. Now, maybe Parasite pulls an upset win for Best Original Screenplay, or maybe Jojo Rabbit or The Irishman can win for Best Adapted Screenplay. But that's really all I can think of in terms of upsets. The only real issue that any one of us were having in terms of predictions were for Best Director and Best Picture. After the Golden Globes, a lot of us thought that Sam Mendes was picking up momentum for Best Director and Best Picture. But we had to wait for future award shows to see if that was the case. Maybe they'd keep giving it to 1917, maybe they'd spread the love to The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but no. 1917 is eating up this award scene. 1917 won the Golden Globe, it won the Producer Guild of America Awards, and now it just won the Director Guild of America Awards. The only major award show before the Oscars that's left is the BAFTAs. And maybe I'm being optimistic, but I think it's safe to say that the British Academy of Film and Television might award 1917 with the top prize. With the assumption that 1917 does win the BAFTA for Best Director and Best Picture, I think it's safe to say that it's practically a lock that Sam Mendes will win Best Director at the Oscars, and 1917 will be honored with the top prize at the Academy Awards. The only other film that I can think of that took home all of these awards and still ended up losing Best Picture was La La Land. And again, the difference between La La Land and 1917 was La La Land had momentum for months. It was the frontrunner for the longest time, whereas 1917 only barely started picking up momentum a month ago. Not to mention that 1917 is a technical achievement in filmmaking. And while La La Land is a fantastic film and I love it to death, La La Land didn't give the impression that it was a groundbreaking film achievement. Whereas 1917 clearly is a big achievement and audiences and voters are taking note of that. Sam Mendes winning the DGA was crucial for this award scene. Had Bong Joon-ho taken home the DGA, this Oscar race would have been very interesting. And the debate between which movie would win Best Picture or Best Director would go on until the night of the Oscars. But with the DGA win for 1917, I think it's safe to say that everything is starting to be wrapped up. In terms of the bigger awards, that is. I'm sure there will be upsets like there are every year. Maybe Once Upon a Time in Hollywood does end up winning Best Picture, or maybe even Parasite does. But the possibility of an upset that big is so unlikely at this point that it's just wishful thinking. It's crazy to think how a few months ago, hell even just a few weeks ago, this Oscar race was so unpredictable. It felt like every single damn movie that was nominated for Best Picture could have taken home the award. But a few award shows later, and 1917 has won a majority of them. The once confusing Oscar race has now become pretty easy to make a predictions list for. Like I said before, I'm sure there will be some upsets, but if I'm filling out my predictions list right now, I'm listing all the predictable winners. Because really there's almost zero reason to vote for anybody else because those that are the frontrunners in their respective categories have been dominating every award show. When Olivia Colman pulled an upset win over Glenn Close for Best Actress in a Leading Role, it wasn't completely shocking. Olivia Colman had won a couple awards over Glenn Close, like the BAFTAs, so seeing her win the Oscar wasn't completely shocking and mind-blowing. But this year, there is none of that. Whoever the frontrunner is in the respective category has not lost, and I don't see them losing at the Oscars either. Whether we're talking cinematography for 1917, Best Actor for Joaquin Phoenix, Best Supporting Actress for Laura Dern, or now Sam Mendes for Best Director and 1917 for Best Picture, it seems like everything is starting to be pretty easy to predict now. All that's really left to do is to watch the 92nd Academy Awards and see if all the frontrunners do end up winning their Oscar, or see if there's going to be some type of major upset like when Moonlight won over La La Land. hand. But I want to know what you all think. Does Sam Mendes winning the DGA mean something? Is it just another award? Does it solidify 1917 as a lock for Best Director and Best Picture? Or are we going to be looking at an upset? Let me know down in the comments section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.